So we're doing a meet day. All right, great, dude. So everyone who's watching, this is the Real World Content Team meeting. Every week happens, and we are figuring this out as we go. Guru Merkaba, aka Z, it should be joining in a second, and I think this week is really about shifting some of our weekly like parameters, because we're I think all of these we've done up to this point are fantastic in terms of recognizing that what we want to do is create content that allows for templates for other people to create content around or inspired by what we've done, and kind of use the same structure. But I want to make it easier for everybody, especially since last week we had Guru suggested a 15-second ish articulation of our journey challenges. And I wrote my 15 seconds. I didn't say anything in the interim because I just want to see if anybody would be able to execute, but I haven't seen any, Mike, were you able to do that?
I was, but I got a problem with video lead. It's all jumbled up. It's there, but the order's wrong, so I got to fix it.
Interesting. Okay. So I'm interested in how it worked for you.
Yeah, so it is not 15 seconds. I'll tell you that. It's closer to 30 easily.
Okay. I thought something would happen like that too. And for me, I wrote mine out and I'm like, okay, this is cool, but this is also, it's an undertaking. And this is part of I think in general, part of us figuring out what works for different personas. You know, if you are just coming into Justice for Hire or one of our worlds, we want it as easy as possible, which is why we have the just tell us your hero name and why you're the hero to hire. We want that to work out wonderfully for people and be very, very easy for somebody to collaborate. But then you have something like this where you actually have to have thought about your story to be able to summarize your story. And so, you know, I've thought about my story for years, and even for me, I was like, man, this is, what moments do I pick? So I had to, you know, really pick the moments that fit into this. And I feel good about it, but it's also even a production undertaking. I'm like, man, like, when do I have time to do this week, etc. So Eric is messaging me.
For me, I did not give it as much of a narrative flow. I mostly just kind of picked quick excerpts.
Cool.
Because I figured if I'm going to really try and tell a story, it's already over long. The goal is 15 seconds, and I know none of us are gonna actually get there. You know, pragmatically speaking, 15 seconds is a hard mark. But I figured if I'm going to really try and tell a story, there's no way I'm getting anywhere near that. For example, I had one scene that's, well, basically in it, there are really just 2 lines of actual dialogue spoken. Each one of these is 1 sentence and pushing 2 seconds. It's really hard to get a coherent sentence in under a second. So I figured if you're going to try and add dialogue, add anything, you know, this wasn't me adding to the project. It's that the project clearly delineates, say this, you know? Like the first one's announce your name, there's one at the very end, words of wisdom. If you're going to do those and you're not taking a very, very liberal interpretation of the challenge, you have to speak. So everything I could, I just did by action, you know. If you guys know me at all, my modus operandi for these things is usually just simple stunts. Quick one-man stunts done with minimal equipment. Because that's something where it's consistently challenging, consistently interesting, a bit of fun, and it gets things across quickly. A stunt executed in a certain way is one of the fastest ways in media to communicate. It's not always useful, but it's efficient. So mine was heavy on those.
That's beautifully put. That's beautifully articulated. And yeah, it's really, really beautifully articulated. I'd say that I'm hoping the video lead gets, it's unfortunate to hear that, because I really do like that program. So, but
So I think this was a touchscreen issue. Not to cut you off too many times tonight, but
okay.
what I think happened was when I was going in there, because there's so many small clips, I don't know if the video clip itself that was the problem, or if my touchscreen just over zapped it and made a bunch of swaps I didn't want.
Mm,
Because that's the issue. It's not anything is broken or anything except maybe one scene is gone, which is fine because on my phone anyway. It's that everything is shuffled wrong. Like, this is a very clear sequence. We picked 15 scenes in a certain order. So I checked before this meeting because I thought, I want to show the guys. And I had a look, and yeah, everything's backwards.
huh.
So I just need to unjumble it, which is not very hard.
Is everything
case, sorry,
backwards, or is it jumbled or backwards? Meaning, did center point stay the same and everything got reversed, or is it actually jumbled?
no. Which is why I think it's a touchscreen thing.
Okay. Okay. Oh, well, dude, like I was telling David this, but I think that I want to make sure that we're always that we always have our parameters, but we also are take some weeks lighter than others. So I feel like the last week's assignment was more dense than anticipated, or at the very least, it seemed like it was dense in the beginning, but like Guru made it sound very, very achievable. So I was like, this is gonna be great. But I think for this week, and maybe even for the I mean, we'll check in every week, but I think that just saying, hey, take on anything in the app as a mission, etc., or a challenge, and post it within the app for your character, and of course for on social, so that people know that it's out there and that they can join too. So literally anything, as long as it's something new that we haven't seen in the app and it populates the app and social, it would be great. As long as that's done within the week, so we can always measure. Like, I want to make sure that everybody on here on these calls, that on our content team, is that we're essentially training like the leadership that we need to scale the team, because we'll eventually have multiple teams. And what I would love for you guys to do is to each have your own team. And so your team, anybody who's working with you, should be able to be measured in terms of their performance. And the way that the only measuring that we currently have right now is like, did everyone do a thunderclap at 3:30? And did everyone produce their piece of content for the week? And so if either of those things didn't happen, then the question is, did you let me know, or did we let each other know that that couldn't happen, which is totally fine if it can't. But as long as we communicate, then like that's the measuring points. It's like we have the content and the timing of the posting, and if those things can't be met, there's communication. But if we don't do the communication and they're not met, then like we have to make adjustments, because we want to make sure that the team we have is always either communicating, or it's either follow through or communicate why the follow through can't happen. And so I think as long as it's follow through or communicate why it can't follow through, then we're always going to have an A team. And so that's for this week. I think it's just post anything, make anything you want. I would love to see your thing from last week. I'm cutting right now the Urban Action Showcase announcement video. I'll probably be integrating the scenes you made with the 5 deadly venoms. So I'll be cutting that in a second. But I'm really designing the sound right now. I haven't done this in a while, where I personally design sound. So I'm designing some sound because I want it to feel new and different, and to feel like 2022. So
this is a particular reference, but for that one, what got me was the scorpion. If you've ever seen the trailer of 5 Day Adventures, everybody watching, or you know the one, there's that trailer where it's showing off all these guys can do. That one character, the scorpion, has a particularly weird stunt where he's holding a pole with his hands and breaking pots with his feet. And that is the most awkward thing to make look good. Everything else, you have some leeway out of those 5. That
Yeah,
one is it's such a peculiar way of moving.
well, I'm looking forward to intercutting your thing with their thing. Well, dude, I mean, like this is. I think we can keep it short today, man. Like I'm gonna put together that the email with the with the thunderclap image. And I'm not sure exactly what the thunderclap will be. I feel like that we had a I took some notes on it. I can't find that particular note. So, but yeah, man. Like, well, let's. I think this week it'll actually be the hero meetup. We'll have a hero meetup on Friday. Hope you guys can make the hero meetup on Friday. We'll do another hero meetup on Friday. It'll be it'll be great. So and I forgot what the theme is, but let me look at what the theme is right now, just so you guys have a heads up on this. Let's see. Okay, defining the spirit of JFH. That's actually going to be a big deal. And listing movies and shows that make you feel great. So, like, for example, for me, it's Avatar, not movies, shows. Avatar: The Last Airbender, Legend of Korra, Marvel movies, Charlie Chaplin, and Jackie Chan. Those things make me feel great. And it's because so much stuff makes me feel personally down when and I think that, you know, I did some writing on this called the positivity model, and why TikTok is so successful. And it's because they're essentially giving a direct conduit to the heart, the authentic heart of a creator, and which used to be the model for the film industry, but it shifted as films started being made by committee. And there's not just me saying this, there's data across the industry about this as well. But finding out from you guys, like, what you find to uplift you, what makes you feel great, makes you feel like this is the spirit of a great movie. And so being able to get that list from the community, and then like really that'll help me personally editing the series, and I think will help the community grow over time as well.
Have you seen The Good, the Bad, and the Weird?
I've not. I've seen The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Yeah, it's an homage to that largely. So it's a Korean Western set in Manchuria. And I just own a copy of it somewhere. It's one of my favorite contemporary movies. It's halfway between The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, the original, and the new Mad Max. I'll put it that way.
I actually think I might have seen this. Yeah, I at the very least saw the trailer, because this is I think I saw this at like the independent cinema in New York and over a decade ago.
Sounds about 10
Yeah.
years ago. Yeah, it's a
I
Korean.
100% saw this. I definitely saw this. I remember the logo.
So you remember the basic concept. It's a Western. They've got 3 main characters, like the good, the bad, and the ugly. There's a thief, a hitman, and a bounty hunter.
Yeah.
Hitman's chasing the thief, the bounty hunter's chasing the hitman. And what makes it a bit funny is there develops this crazy kind of conga line of antagonists. Because we have these 3 to begin with, and then there's a local gang, a bunch of bandits, all the way up to the Japanese army, all in this giant, well, treasure hunt. But nobody knows what the treasure is, or where it is, or are they doing any of it, or even who anybody else is. So I really enjoy that movie because there's one major theme to it. It's confusion. Nobody knows what they're doing, why they're doing it, why they're there, or even who anyone else is. It's just sheer chaos. And when nothing, and the movie is basically a mix between breakneck action and characters looking at each other in telescopes saying, "Who is that? Why are they here? What's going on?" Which I just find is fantastic when you have these movies, and there aren't too many of them, where nobody knows what's going on, because that is a great reflection of reality. Because most of the time, most people really don't know. You know, we go about our lives, we have some idea of some things, some frame of reference. Once you step back a bit, the world is mostly a mystery. So I feel great when I get to see something like that where the characters are completely confused. Because as much as they're antagonistic and they hate each other, kill each other, whatever, at the end of the day, they're all confused people doing things they don't know, doing things that they don't understand.
Dude, so that's going to be on your list of great movies to see. Great Spirit.
There are similar themes. There's a show which is very hit or miss called Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency.
Dirk what?
Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency. It's got Elijah Wood. It's a very funny show if you like that type of thing where nobody understands what's happening.
Okay.
Whoop.
I just pulled up the trailer. Thank you. I'll check it out.
It's a lot of fun. And for those of you who are a bit more literary, there's a book called Man Who Was Thursday by G.K. Chesterton, which is a very old spy novel from maybe the 30s, where this guy is trying to infiltrate this cabal of dangerous anarchists. And as he confronts these guys, it turns out everyone is another investigator. And no one knows who the actual anarchists are. It's a bit of a twist, but not much one. I mean, the book's been out almost 100 years, you know, it's not really a twist anymore.
Dude, I mean, I'm going to check out these both of these trailers to refresh myself on the good, the bad, and the weird, and to check out Dirk Gently. And yeah, man, we'll put together a graphic and send it out. And thank you as usual, dude. So
I'll fix my thing. I was gonna just export it so I'd have it for this, but I opened up my phone like literally 10 minutes before the meeting to check it, and it's chaos. But it's an easy fix.
Dude, so well, I'll also say that we'll be doing something where every time we do a new like team project, because like maybe we'll switch it up every week. Like I said, this week is just about posting something in the app that's new, and post it on social too, and tell people to go to the app. But like let people know obviously that it's coming from the Just for Hire app and about ReelwUrld. But but we'll also do like different project leads, so like last week's example would be Guru would be the lead if we would have had the system last week on that particular project, and like check in with everybody and like see if anyone needs anything, etc. And then if David or you come up with a particular idea, you would be the lead on that particular project for the week. And so like really just training the whole concept of like, hey, we have a content team, and how do we get the content team? How do we make sure the content team is like, everyone always feels good about what they're making, life feels clear, needs any help, etc. So that when we get to the point where we have the larger team, it's a really easy transition.
Yeah, so that's actually a very good idea, and here's my reason why. If you remember Oscar speech week 2 weeks ago, a lot of us had issues with our product, what we're making. And the thing about that is it's absolutely fine not to be happy with your product or your art, whichever way you want to say it, because nothing is perfect. And if you're invested in it, you're going to notice what's not perfect. So it's perfectly reasonable to have issues. The problem is that when you talk about them, especially in a written format, things often come off as very negative, even when they aren't. I actually am very careful when I text, because I come off much more negative in writing than I like to be in real life.
Mm.
And I can say the exact same thing. If you don't hear the inflection or the energy, it seems much more negative. So a lead is very important in this case, because if people are talking, and like anyone creating their art, their product, their whatever, if they have issues and other people have issues, it very quickly turns into this giant negativity sink. Having a lead who can separate these things out can keep it from building, because he can deal with everybody one-on-one. Whereas if it's just one group chat, I've found there can be this negativity cascade effect where everyone, even if they're not unhappy, looks unhappy. And it just piles.
That's a really beautiful thing you just said. And I think we need, that's exactly the kind of nuanced awareness that we need to build the company culture. Like, it's super important to understand that as a creator, when we're creating, we're in a very vulnerable place. And it can be incredibly challenging. And a lot of the cynicism in Hollywood and anger, et cetera, comes from interacting with people who don't know, who aren't aware of the importance of being sensitive to a person in a creative space. And so it's really, really important for us to be able to communicate with each other while in these spaces. And one of the best ways to do so is to understand how it feels to be communicated with when you're in that space. You know, I just got off a call with a very strong Hollywood investor, you know, talking about ReelwUrld, talking about exactly what we're doing right now. And it was great to be able to talk to somebody who also understands, you know, you can, when you're good at it, and I think Hollywood, with all its flaws, is the best at it, of how to communicate with talent, meaning actors, actresses, etc., writers, directors, the whole roster. There's a way to talk to talent, and I think when we become, as a team, continue to develop our expertise in this area and identify things exactly as you just identified it, like, hey, the written word for certain types of notes, because essentially these are all notes, can be taken with harshness. And we really want to be able to be clear with each other, while also recognizing that when someone's in a more vulnerable state, it may be easier to push them in one direction or the other, when what we really want is their posture. We want a strong posture, and not a bullheadedness of like, it's my way or no way, which is toxic creativity, but the idea of, hey, we're actually working on something together. And the project lead can say, you know, this is really what I'm looking for. How about we try this? I'm like, that's really good. And something like this might take it to another level. What do you think? Like, all these little ways to essentially augment the creative spirit rather than to crush it. So, we got Guru coming in right at the end of the jump off this thing. The Guru's coming right at the end. We were just finishing up, man. What's going on, dude? He's in San Francisco.
Hold on, give me 1 second. That's funny because I am in San Francisco at the moment.
Oh, wow.
Well, there
That's
we go.
called meta.
Right? Well, I turned it on and I was like, wait, that's kind of strange. Like, I am in San Francisco.
Nice, man. Well, I'm hoping you're having a phenomenal time out there.
Thank you.
Just to recap real quickly, so we're gonna have a JFH Hero meetup on Friday. So I hope you can make it. That'll be the Thunderclap on Thursday for 3:30 p.m. 12:30 Eastern, 12:30 our time. If there, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Did you hit the Thunderclap on Thursday? This past Thursday?
No, because I caught it too late. So by the time I opened the email, it was 3:30 our time, and I was like, "Oh crap!" And it said 12. It looked like it said 12:30 Pacific Standard Time.
It did. So don't worry about it. Just let me know anytime that you're gonna miss it. Just let me know, and you can always post later. But like what I was saying to David and to Mike is that we want to be able to create an ecosystem which everybody on the team is going to be leading their own team, and you just want to be able to measure team performance with times and content creation.
Totally.
So you haven't seen mine, but and Mike is working on his. He had an editing issue, but the 15-point summary, I thought it was going to be a challenge to take on, and I wrote mine out, and I was just like, man, like I don't even know when I'm going to have time to shoot this thing. But what we're going to do going forward is that you shot yours.
Yeah, I shot mine and everything. I just need to edit mine. I had, because when you sent out the clap, I was like, that's right. I only had Zora available for like a 2-hour window. So we shot everything in that 2-hour window. And now it's just about editing. She just sent me the last little bit. So I was gonna be working on it when I had downtime at work today, so that I can get it out.
So, okay, no, that's great. I think that going forward, like you would be the lead of a project like that. Every time a project comes up, like we'll pick a different lead. It might be Mike, it might be David, it might be Eric, it might be you. But the intention is that Mike was just articulating the value here of each one of us being able to interact with each other as creators with creators. To reinforce the positivity that we want in the company culture, because sometimes the written word, as Mike was articulating, can seem negative, and we don't want to pull away from anybody's like good spirit, because everyone's come here with good spirit, and so there's that, and I also really want to be realistic with us setting team goals. The intention is for us to be doing like 2 things, each one of us doing 2 things per week. And that 2 thing is creating a piece of content that is and going forward, it'll be mostly justice for hire focused, unless we do something different, but it'll be on the app and on social. So essentially like we put it on social so the more people know to come to the app. And then of course the thunderclap. And so the thunderclap is timed at a specific time. And if you can't make it, let me know. And the other thing is essentially supposed to be done within a weekend, within a week's period. And if you can't hit that, that's totally fine as long as we let each other know. Like, so for this stuff, like let me know. But for a project lead, like we should let the project lead know. And so that's totally fine. As long as we communicate, it's either follow through or communicate on why the follow through can't happen, and both of those are great. But if we don't communicate and we don't follow through, then we're creating the opposite of the company culture that we want.
Yes, totally. Sorry, I have to move my car.
It's all good. So for this week, it's just post anything, like take on a challenge or a mission from JFH and just post it on the app. Literally anything you want. And post it on we want more content on the app, and we want to frame each one of us as leaders and for other people to emulate on the app. So they could be like, oh, wow, look at that new thing. But of course, post it on social too, on any one of your channels so that people can know that it's coming. It's part of the Justice for Hire experience. Right.
Absolutely.
So I'll write that a little email summary, but it's outside of that, it's, I'm cutting our JFH Urban Action Showcase 10th anniversary first trailer right now. So I'm going to be focused on that, but I still would love to see, I'm going to do the 15-second thing, or 15 to 30 second, the 15-point journey challenge as soon as I can. But when you guys get that done, like please share, because I'm very interested in seeing that, because I think it'll inspire me and help me to get mine done too.
So then in the spirit, if you don't mind me asking, in the spirit of this, then do you want me to touch bases with everyone for this week if they want to put out their journey challenges, or to have everyone touch bases with me to say, hey, I'm going to post my journey challenge this day, or not the journey challenge, the 15 points, excuse me.
Sure.
I mean, rolling, or do you, I'm just to try to get an idea of where you want us. Cause like, I know I'm almost done with mine. I know you haven't shot yours. I don't know where everyone's at with theirs. Also, I wanted to clarify something when we get a chance.
Sure.
Yeah.
What's up? Oh,
No, no,
let
it
me
was,
answer the first though. The first thing
yeah.
is sure, why not? I mean,
Okay.
like I think the intention for each one of these, and I'm happy to change to shift that intention if you guys had a different perspective. But the intention was that if we said it last Monday, this Monday, it should already be out.
Yeah. Right.
And so like I think the intention is that like I realized halfway through last week that that would probably be impossible for everybody. And I was like, huh, this doesn't seem possible after I wrote my outline. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
if there's ever you know, last week was my birthday and there's all this other stuff going on. So I was just like, okay, there whoever is in the lead of a particular project, if you realize that something might be out of scope for getting it done in a week,
Yeah.
to be able to articulate that to everybody. And it's fine if it becomes something that we do for the next week and it rolls over. But as long as
Right.
we're clear on all
Clear
of
with
our,
that.
yeah, as long as we're clear when the objective has shifted even slightly and everyone's clear on that, then it's great. But if it's just,
Okay.
if it just happens and we all kind of show up and it's just like, you know, you got a blunt and a 40 in your hand and you're like, you know, nothing. You know, like, we don't want that company culture.
No.
But yeah, I mean, I think that
Okay.
that if you could, if you know, especially since, and David, I'm not sure if David, if, I mean, if I articulated it last in the email, but you weren't here on the call last week, and we missed our call last week, our separate call. So if you have any questions about this 15 point, it's for your character creator, for each one of our characters. Please hit up Z, aka Guru, to help clarify, because he's this was his idea, and I think it's a great idea, and I think it'll be really, really helpful for a lot of people.
Absolutely. When so to my clarification, something I wanted to clarify from earlier, from when we were talking last week, before, because I'd written my outline and filmed it before you sent out the blurb, because I've had to work the Giants game this homestand, so I've been there every single day that we've had a game. But apart from that, when I was mentioning it, I had set it around like doing the 15 point save the 15 beats for Save the Cat. I know you were talking a little bit about that. I was gonna take it from a space of I was gonna represent real world. So I took a piece of my character and I created it in a sillier way. So it's not something that's solid as far as like my story goes, but I was trying to show how you can tell a story in those 15 beats, or in how you can film it. And it still had a superhero, it had all those things, so that I can tie back JFH into it. It had a familiar character alongside it. But and then I saw what you had put out and I was like, oh crap, this is going to take a lot longer if I have to refilm everything. But I just wanted to clarify that was the space I was coming, because I was under the impression when we were talking that you wanted to do it for Real World, and then when we get the chance to start doing it more for JFH.
So yes, you're totally right about that. The JFH centric, that was kind of new today, of saying, hey, you know what? Let's make it easier for everybody, because there's so many moving pieces right now. And
Right.
I know we were talking about, and I think it still should be the case, that what we do on the content team is separate than anything else you might do outside the content team. But right now, like we have a show, and I think we need to clarify the voices, like Justice for Hire. So to clarify, yes, I completely know what you're talking about, and it's all good that you shot it that way. Totally fine.
Okay.
That's great. I think moving forward, starting this week, let's make it JFH centric, and
Absolutely.
let's really show that we have content leaders on the platform, which are essentially you guys, and the content leaders are putting out the dopest content for any particular challenge or mission that they're taking on. And I think that as a baseline, that if we don't have any other idea for the week, and there's no particular leader taking on that's spearheading a concept, that's just take on a mission or challenge, and make sure it's on the app, but also post it to social. So like for example, I'm a Guru. I'm not sure if you put your cowboy mission on the app, but if you can put that on the app.
Oh,
Please
The
do.
cowboy mission is on the app, I
Okay,
believe.
awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
I had checked. Maybe I checked challenges because I was like, I didn't see it.
Oh yeah, it's a mission. It's a mission.
Yeah, yes, David. Yes. So JFH content, but specifically taking on something on the app.
Right, okay.
And ideally, you're uploading to the app so you can also upload it to your social and let people know that this is part of Justice for Hire, so that they come to our first show. Because again, one of the big wins that we can have for ReelwUrld is to have the biggest show in the world. You know, that was like I just got off
100%.
of a media investor call, and the guy really, like, you know, he knows exactly what we're talking
Ratings.
about. He's like, yeah, man, like
Ratings.
you can have more characters than Marvel. So,
Heck yeah.
so yeah, yes, and David, please sync with Z, aka Guru, who's on our group chat as well, because he can give more guidance there. But it's not just take on each one of the journey challenges in the app. He was saying there's a way to do it 1 second or 2 seconds each. And I think he's really, I'm interested to see your cut of that, because I think it's going to inform, when I have an opportunity to do it, it'll inform me too.
Right. Yeah, because it's figuring out how you can say a lot of words in 1 second.
That's what Mike was talking about.
It'll range. It'll range a little bit. So that's it could break it down into just having those 15 beats, and each beat can be hit like some beats can be hit at the same time. So that's why it'll be maybe 5 seconds, because you could talk about your theme and, you know, show the setup all at once. You get to know who the character is, all of that together. So yeah, we could talk more. Just reach out. We can work on it. But yeah, I'll put it together and I'll put it out. I ideally I would like to put it out before the homestand is over, which is this Wednesday. So I'll just be working in between all the other stuff I'm doing. That way it's out, and like you can use it as a template. You know, the reason that it's designed.
No, this is great. I'm looking for the Shang-Chi in 1 minute video, but I can't find it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I can't find it. I definitely saw it too. But yeah, guys. I mean, this is you know, I think Friday will be great. I'm looking forward to your 15-second stuff, and then, like I said, this week is just post anything on the app and on social, and next week, if you know, if someone wants to come up with an idea, especially that connects like Justice for Hire and other heroes, you know, let's go for that, and that person would be the person who's the lead for the week. Okay, guys, I'm gonna say goodbye. I love you guys.
I'm not saying let's do this, but what could be funny at some point is like, so, you know, my main influence is comedy. So I think it'd be kind of funny if you had somebody say, ask for help, right? Say one of the heroes, say, hey, I need backup on this. Can you come through? Then the next person, whoever gets called, says, you know what? I'll talk to the next guy. And it becomes a daisy chain of calls.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Just, you know, heroes talking to each other. And, you know, the idea is that in theory, JFH is supposed to make things efficient, organized, and so on. But then there's the reality of it. You know, we say Uber for heroes. Well, Uber doesn't always work either. Sometimes things don't go the way you want.
Dude, I love that idea, and it also, so we should definitely do that. And I also love the idea of heroes teaming up and then realizing they're not in the same state. Like, hey, I need backup. I'll be right there. Hold on. Where are you? I'm in San Francisco. Oh, well, this is an emergency, and you're not here. So, I mean, I think that's all those little it's not working kind of scenes are actually massively helpful, because we have a section in season 1 that has in the story that has a bunch that deals with that. So if you guys shoot it's not working stuff, I think it's a brilliant idea. But let's table that potentially for next week. So Mike, why don't we do that for next week? this week, like I said, just take on anything, and and anything you shot from last week, just send over as soon as you can. Sound good? Okay. Thank you, guys. I love you guys. I'll send out a recap of the whole email too. All right, guys. Have a great night. Love you.
Sounds good. Take care.
Thanks again.